Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Eccentric Mind Podcast with George Hernandez. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Wow, it's unbelievable. Look, I've been a bit funky these last 2 days for some reason. It's been like I've been in a bit of a rut, but literally saying the Eccentric Mind Podcast with George Hernandez just puts a big ass smile on my face. Hi. Honestly, I want to talk about two things today. And one of them is some sort like limiting doubts, limiting beliefs. I've come to learn that there is no better way to fucking execute them than by just putting in a sheer amount of work into what you're doing. You know, this happens to everyone. You know, we all get some sort of doubting, limiting belief, you know. It can't just be oorah all the time, right? There has to be, if it's just a paradox. If you are able to have good feelings, if you're able to have good positive emotions, you're going to have negative emotions throughout your life, right? If you're able to have negative emotions, you're able to have positive emotions, you know? Just like we have life, like without death, we wouldn't have life. Without life, we wouldn't have death. Correct? Correct. So, yes. And I've never really, and there's just nothing better to execute that fucking doubt than just by putting in a sheer amount of work that you really don't want to do. Because I woke up this morning and I didn't want to do shit. I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to go to Starbucks to put in a 5-hour, 6-hour deep work session. I didn't want to write. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to write a long form. I didn't want to send the DMs. I didn't want to work out, but I did the shit anyway. And not only that, it's like a brute force kind of thing. Like you go in there and you just hammer it the fuck out. Fuck all the limiting doubts. Fuck what your mind is telling you. Just be on top of it. Like don't let the doubts and the thoughts take ownership of you, because it's only going to ruin your momentum. And I feel like I've been in a place where the momentum has been fucking unreal this year so far, right? We're just taking a lot more action. We're doing so much more. We're going all in. And I feel like if I had listened to those thoughts today, I wouldn't be doing this podcast right now. So it just feels good to know that I gave myself the freedom and I gave myself the luxury of pushing past the doubts. And now I feel a whole lot better about myself because I didn't let my mind take ownership of my own self. I have a mind of my own, and I know that if I had listened to my mind, I wouldn't be getting myself closer to where I want to go. And I feel like that's important. Anyways, yes, that's kind of been life right now. It's just been like a 2-day stretch. So honestly, I feel a lot better now. But honestly, what I really wanted to delve into is something really fucking fascinating to me that I've been seeing over the course of my past few walks. So, for context, I guess, I walk every day. And, you know, when you go walking, you see a lot of things. You see dead cats. You see people driving like shit. You see a lot of things when you're walking, right? But recently, and it's literally in the same destination every single time I come, I see it. I see the same bag of chicharrones every single day, just laying right there. Now, if you know what chicharrones are, if you know, you know. But chicharrones are, honestly, I don't really know how to describe them. It's like a chip. It's a round. It's like es de harina, so it's made out of flour. And they're round. They look like peace signs, pretty much. They look like peace signs. And they're fucking immaculate. Right? They're just amazing, amazing, amazing chips. That, honestly, I don't know the macro breakdown of them. Yeah, so they're deep fried pig skin with meat attached, but it can also be made from chicken skin. Fried wheat flour. Okay, so yeah, so the fried wheat flour are the ones that are in a circle. Other ones are made out of they're pretty much pork rinds, okay? Those are the long ones. But I'm talking about the ones made in flour that come in circles. Now, The thing I find so fascinating about chicharrones is that not only are they fucking an incredible snack, so good, highly recommend if you just put some tapatio, a little bit of Valentina, a little bit of chamoy, some lemon. Oh, dude, I haven't had chicharrones at like a OG swamp meat in forever. But chicharrones are really interesting because when you purchase a bag of chicharrones, they're already pre-made. Like they've already been made, right? But if you go out to a store and you buy chicharrones pre-made, you will come to notice and see that they come in very small spheres. Probably about that big, okay? I'm looking at my camera. If you're looking at the camera, the YouTube, the Spotify, they're about that big, the size of my fingers, right? They're about that big. And they're orange. They're not as fluffy or they're not as bright as when you buy them made, correct? And what's interesting about them, and I used to see my mom make them all the time when I was younger. And it's so cool because all you do to make them, it's super easy. You get oil, you put it into a pan, let it fry for about 15 minutes, and then you throw the chicharrones in there. Now, what's really, really cool about the chicharrones is that they come in tiny, tiny supplements. They come very small and you get a gang of them, right? But when you put them into the oil, the amount of heat and the pressure, it literally immediately just implodes. It grows. Like grows insurmountably. And if you keep it in there, it'll grow more and more. My mom normally just took them out just so we could have regular base sized ones. But if you keep them in there, they'll just grow and grow and grow. And I thought that was always interesting for some reason. And what's cool about it is because you can put something in and just due to a sheer amount of stress and pretty much just a sheer amount of stress, the oil grows. It grows them insurmountably, right? They just continuously grow. And from that, you're able to have a delicate, soft, crunchy snack from it, right? But now this is where I take it back to my walks. So I walk, and I see the same bag of chicharrones every day. The first time I saw it, they were just regular based, almost as if someone had just bought them and thrown them away on the floor. Which people fucking recycle. I would clean it up, but maybe I should. Because I'm seeing it. Maybe I should pick them up. But just throw your trash away. I saw it the first time, and I saw them there, and I was like, oh, wow, chicharrones, you know? Then the second day I saw them again, and I was like, damn, like they haven't picked them up. Maybe I should pick them up. Third day I saw them. But what I noticed, actually, is that the chicharrones slowly... Hold on. Before I point out something. If you don't eat chicharrones for as soon as you buy them and get out of the swamp meat, they're going to grow stale. It doesn't take very long for them to grow stale. Okay? So... Well, actually, I just thought of something else too. So hold on. Let me rewind it all back. So when you put the chicharrones in, they grow. But if you take too long to eat them, they grow stale. After that, they start to grow soggy. And now this is where I take it to my walk. So I see them. They were originally stale when I first saw them. Then the next time I saw them again, they grew soggy. But then, recently, on my recent walk, I've been so obsessed with this idea recently. On my recent walk, I noticed they have returned back to that shape where they originally started. Back to that spot. They didn't change color. They still had that brighter color from when they are subjected to oil, but they grew back to that size they originally started in. And I fucking love that, because there's a lesson you can really gain from that. If you stop subjecting yourself to stress, if you're dealing with the same lessons and not learning from them, you're not going to grow any much more. If you're constantly doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're not going to learn. You're not going to grow. If you're not constantly cascading yourself into severely hot oil, and by that I mean subjecting yourself to stress, doing hard things, doing things your mind doesn't want you to do, but you fucking push past it anyway and do it, that is where growth comes in. That's where your chicharrón, from its original small state, grows into a much larger state. But if you stop subjecting yourself to cascading hot oil, aka stress, you're going to grow stale, you're going to grow soggy, and then you're going to go back to your original state where you had originally started from. But you'll maintain the same color. You'll have the same everything about yourself, but you let yourself grow soft. You let yourself get lost by excuses. You let yourself shrink back to where you originally started. All because you didn't want to subject yourself to stress. All because you didn't want to cascade yourself into hot iron. Stress is not a bad thing. There's a thing called eustress. Eustress is pretty much us humans, us individuals, we need some sort of stress to continue us going. If we lived in a apple farm with a river of water and fish, and everything was fine and dandy, we would hate life eventually. We need some sort of stress to keep us going. A level of stress that is at 2 to 3. Nothing higher than that. Obviously, high levels of stress can bring you down. But we do need some form of stress, and a form of stress is good to have, because it helps us grow. It helps us see past things. And I thought that was fucking cool with the chicharrones, because like myself, this is just going into a bit of an example of myself. I have a hard time doing easier, comfortable things, because I know that if I don't continuously push myself, I'm going to shrink down to that version of myself who I originally was. Now, if you've gained a lot of traction, if you've done a lot of hard things for a very fucking long time, if you were able to build a body you're proud of, get six-pack, this, that, it's very hard. Obviously, it's hard to go back to that lifestyle you were at before. But it's also really fucking easy to do the same thing. It's also really easy to get comfortable. It's also really easy to go back to your old ways. It's not easy maintaining it. Right, it would take a lot of... If you took a lot of time losing weight and you lost all that weight and you've been holding it off for years on years, then yes, it'll take a long time to bring it all back. But it would be fucking easy to do that. Right? Same thing it is, like if you gain a lot of weight, it's going to be hard to lose the weight. So it's like, I tend to struggle just getting a little bit comfortable, because I understand that I don't ever want to go back to where I was at before. To that version of myself. It's almost like acting out of fear of ever going back to that place that I was in, which is a little weird. But I'm hoping you gain something out of that, because you just need to start subjecting yourself a little bit more to stress, which brings it back to my first point that I started here. I was struggling immensely with limiting doubts and beliefs, all because I felt like I was getting comfortable. And so rather than shrinking back to my original state, I decided to take action and further throw myself into hot, cascading oil and stress by doing things that I didn't want to fucking do, regardless of how I felt. I didn't want to hit the gym. I didn't want to write today. I didn't want to read today. I didn't want to meditate today. I didn't want to wake up early this morning at 5:30. I didn't want to do any of that shit. But I knew that if I don't, I would be shrinking myself and losing my momentum that I've worked so fucking hard to build. So whatever you're doing right now, if you're getting some sort of limiting belief about the things that you're doing, about the business you're building, about the body you're building, about the relationship that you're building, my advice to you would be just to go in fucking harder on that thing. If your thoughts are telling you something, go against it. If it's telling you that you shouldn't go out and work hard, that's bullshit, and go fucking work hard. Because as soon as you pivot and you tell your mind to fuck off, that's when your mind is like, oh fuck, he did the thing. Let me shut off these thoughts and reward him with ideas. It's just a fucking game. I can't believe we talked about chicharrones on this episode. It's kind of crazy. But I've had that idea for a very long time, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah. This was the Eccentric Mind Podcast with George Hernandez, and I hope you have an amazing day.